Hi, this is Laurel Peltier from Baltimore, and I'm with my family. And we wanted to share with the EPA and say thank you. Thank you very much for proposing to reduce the methane emissions from oil and gas. Fugitive emission reduction to us means that not only will unhealthy things be kept out of the air, but also the unhealthy methane won't be contributing to global warming. But what worries me the most, though, is that these fugitive emissions aren't just methane. There's a lot of other stuff coming out from miles underground via fracking. Not just methane, but volatile organic compounds, benzene, which is a known carcinogen, radium. There's a lot more in these emissions, and they're very, very unhealthy for people. And as a matter of fact, our family went and visited the fracking fields this summer. We went out to West Virginia on our way to a family reunion in Indiana. We spent the day touring fracking wells, compressor stations. We saw a lot of water buffaloes, and we visited a lot of people who had been hurt by fracking. But the most interesting part of our day came at the end when we went to our host's house, and we all smelled this very funny smell. And the woman who was giving us our tour in West Virginia had a condensate tank about 70 feet from her house. And these tanks are located near where a whole bunch of fracking wells come together and they separate out gases from liquids. And they're all over fracking fields. And this condensate tank vents methane and fugitive emissions all the time. And you could smell it, and it's incredibly unhealthy. And one of the reasons I know it's unhealthy is her grandson lived with her for a long time, and his bus stop was about 50 feet from this condensate tank. So as the fracking started, which is about a mile from her house, but it's up the hill from her house, her son's waiting for her bus stop, and they noticed over a few months that he was getting really sick. He was getting like these asthma-like symptoms, but he'd never had asthma before. So they took him to the doctor several times, and they couldn't quite figure it out until finally somebody said, "Is there any fracking occurring near you?" And it hit them that this condensate tank was consistently letting off these fugitive emissions. They later had their indoor air pollution tested. They had this really cool spec monitor put in their house to show what kind of pollutants were in their house, and the numbers in the evening were off the charts. This legal condensate tank, which lets all these fugitive emissions of all these terrible chemicals, is just consistently letting all this stuff vent near her house. Her son got so sick that eventually they just decided the best thing for him to do was to go move back to his home in Seattle. So we want to say thank you, because right now that condensate tank and what's coming out of it is totally legal. And I think another message I just wanted to share is I think it's time for oil and gas and all of us to do the right thing and clean this up. I think our legacy could be not only helping regulate fracking and oil and gas more, but also just doing the right thing and getting this stuff out of the air. It's hurting people and it's hurting our climate. So thank you very much for the rules. I hope it goes through. I know it's just proposed right now, but we'll see. That's all.